Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and I am here with Coach. What's going on, Coach? How are you?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Good. That's a good place to be. Chilling is a good place to be. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate. All that good stuff. Hope you're all safe and well with your families and all that in a very, very tumultuous time for the planet. But it will be well. Eventually, it shall be well. In any event, we are here as a pair of Arsenal fans to have a discussion about the elephant in the room. And, before we get into any details, Coach, I guess I'm going to start with one question. Are you freaking out yet? Is it time to panic?
That's a really hard question to answer. I'm a combination of worried and disappointed, but it's good that I'm disappointed. It's bad that I'm worried, basically. If that makes sense. Yeah, the disappointment comes from me knowing, not just expecting, but me knowing that this team is better than what it's shown. The worried part comes from the fact that, it's not only just old patterns, it's something that I've noticed, this season where, I've used the word unprofessional before, and that's what I've kind of seen in parts with this team. So that's where I'm like, it's a little bit sticky.
Fair enough. If it's not immediately obvious to you, listener, we are recording this a full day after Arsenal got turfed out of the FA Cup by Championship team Southampton, a team that I believe, including the Arsenal game, have now gone undefeated in their last 15 games. That's not to give Arsenal any excuses. Just an acknowledgement that this was a team in pretty good form, playing against arguably one of the 3 to 5 best teams in the world. So there's still no excuse. But even so, as Coach said, I don't know that unprofessional is a word I would use. I think some people I think it's just one of those situations where, I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about Southampton. Let's focus on Southampton a little bit before we go out to the larger picture of what's going on this season. As far as that particular game was concerned, I like the lineup on paper, but ultimately there are certain individuals within the lineup, and I don't do this to dig anyone out or to pick on any specific people, but there are certain individuals in the lineup that are essentially passengers at this level of the game at this point. And I'm going to mention names, and I apologize in advance because it's not about scapegoating. We're just talking about what we saw. A player like Gabriel Jesus, okay, like he offered, I can't remember anything good or bad that he did in that game yesterday. And I feel as if, yes, from a club harmony standpoint, when you have a squad as big as Arsenal currently has, the coach has to find ways to keep people involved. That's part of the reason why Ethan had to go on loan, because he wasn't playing. Gabriel Jesus, I'm sure he understands that given his fitness limitations after all those knee injuries, that he's not going to get the main minutes. And, he gave us a few good moments earlier in the season, but I think we've all reached the same conclusion that he's not the player he used to be. So he's not someone we can rely on. But even so, Coach, I feel as if we can look at the lineup against a championship team and see Gabriel Jesus in there and think he can give us something today. Or am I being a little naive with that expectation?
No, not at all. Because Gabriel Jesus, for all intents and purposes, cooked knee or not, still has a lot of ability and still has a lot of quality. That first part isn't going to work in this current physical condition. And unfortunately, I think he's 29 now. I don't see it coming back, for us at least at this level. So that's where part of the disappointment for me comes from, the fact that we have someone like that in our squad. And don't get me wrong, we weren't wrong to keep him, but we have someone like that in our squad, and we're expecting to win more than 2 trophies. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult to do that when something like that, when you want to achieve something like that, you need your rotational pieces at worst need to be in great physical condition, and he's just not.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I really do, but
yeah, who doesn't? I mean, he's not the greatest finisher on earth, but good Lord, he's a problem. When he was fit, he was a problem. Simple as. But yeah, someone who is quite a bit older than Gabby Jesus at this point, but started getting injuries around the same time. I don't have the resources that he has access to, but you're correct, coach. Once you start getting those big injuries in your late 20s, it's kind of a wrap. Like you get back out there after months of rehab, you're feeling good, you're grateful, and it's just not the same anymore. It's not the same, you know. So, but in any event, what other observations did you have from the game itself? Because from my perspective, I'm not going to say it was a great performance, but I wasn't expecting a great performance. I was expecting a win. I was expecting a win because we're a more quality team than Southampton, regardless of the history we have at St. Mary's, which Gabby will be here to remind us of at some point in the future. But I just felt like, okay, we have enough to get over these guys, regardless of their form. I wasn't expecting a good performance because of the chop and change lineup. It's just too many different people, too many new people. Odegaard for the first time in a long time. Miles Lewis-Skelly for the first time in a long time. What's his name? Mosquera and Gabriel. We've seen them together before, but we haven't seen them together in a long time. Yeah. You know, so they were just, Norgard in midfield after the disappointment of not making it to the World Cup at age, how old is he now? 30 with Denmark. So he, at least with Calafiori, there's a chance that he can make one or two more. With Norgard, that was probably his last. So there were just a bunch of different factors, a lack of chemistry in the team. So I wasn't expecting a great performance, but I was expecting a win. Where were you before the game, coach?
Yeah, I had a really bad feeling about the game. I won't even lie to you. I had a really bad feeling about it. I didn't really say it to anyone, but I did still expect to win. But my biggest thing was, amongst all of the furore of us losing, like we lost Gabriel as well. That's what I mean. Like that's what's really annoying, And I don't know. I don't know how serious it is, but I just had a bad feeling about yesterday, man. Like it was put like this. It was set up to be, we lose the Carabao Cup final, you go away for 2 weeks, you get your own little mental break, physical break, you come back, he should be technically fit and firing. I just couldn't get on board with it. I just didn't feel like it was coming. Do you know what I mean? Even though that was my mindset thinking that should be happening, yesterday's game, I wasn't feeling that way. Now, if you ask me about how I'm feeling about Tuesday and next Saturday, different story. I do feel as if the team will have caught up to what's at stake by now again. Not to use the unprofessional word again, but I do feel as if now they'll realize how serious this stuff is, how quickly your season can change in 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So yesterday for me, I just felt as if, I didn't have a great feeling, honestly. And you mentioned Southampton's form. They've been in really good form. That's just the bottom line. They pretty much won what they lost. I think they won 3 in a row before they played us. So yeah, my feeling was hopefully a win, but I just had this feeling in the pit of my stomach, man. I don't know.
Okay, so when the game started, I've already started memory holding this game. Yeah. All I remember was that things only seemed to look good when the ball was either at Odegaard's feet, which was very, very promising because we haven't seen him in so long and we're going to need him in this run-in. And of course, the baby, Max. Max looked incredible as he always does. Outside of those two who you're free to speak on, did you see any other positives in the game before we dig a little bit deeper into the negatives?
I'm just going to, if we're going to go by the first half, I think Miles recovered well after the initial mistake in the first few minutes.
I don't even remember that mistake.
Yeah, to be honest. It wasn't great, but I think he recovered quite well. Until he got subbed, and he had one situation where he lost it and then they counted.
Yeah, like when he made that second mistake in the second half was when coach was like, all right, enough of this, and he made the substitutions.
But in between that, I actually feel like he recovered quite well, so I'm pleased for him in that regard. It's just that the last memory people might have of him is the fact that he lost the ball when he probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, coach. I thought he had a good game overall.
And
actually, coach, let me stop you. So we started with Miles. Usually we start with the right back. Let's just do a quick player by player evaluation.
Yeah.
So Miles was okay. Mm-hmm. Big Gabby wasn't his best, and he may have gotten injured. Didn't like that. How about Mosquera?
They definitely targeted him, which tells you that he didn't look great. I feel like he actually did recovery ones, I actually feel like he did okay. He had that one errant pass, which again led to another chance. We literally passed it directly to a Southampton player. But the fact they were targeting him, he didn't really give them that much. But when you make defenders turn and face their own goal, you're never going to feel like 100% confident because anything can happen. I can tell you this now, they wouldn't be trying that with Saliba. Do you know what I mean?
Of course not. They would try it once. It would feel so miserably that they'd be like, "That was embarrassing. Let's not do that again."
Basically, yeah. So maybe
everyone tries. Everyone tries once.
Yeah. Then we have build up his aura, and then it will go from there.
He does. I mean, it takes time. It takes time. Remember when Gabriel was, the sloppy guy that was costing us points all the time? It takes time to get there. How about Ben White, who has had a very controversial 2 weeks or so?
So I thought going forward he was good, but again, he was also the other one that was targeted as well. And I think the guy, Chris, I forgot how to pronounce his name, number 13, I think. He ended up getting man in the match, basically, on Ben White's side. So that kind of tells you how the game went for Ben White off the ball. But going forward, I actually thought he was actually pretty decent. Yeah. The mistake, obviously, as well. I'm not going to give him an excuse. I know it was quite windy yesterday. It was very windy yesterday, actually.
It's always windy at St. Mary's. Always, I feel like.
It's on the coast, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still feel like he should have judged it, but he shouldn't have jumped for it. He should have just actually tried to defend it on the ground instead. Make the guy make the decision, but then he gave him the goal. So.
Listen, brother, like that shit happened and I was in shock. I was in shock, like any player can make a mistake, but it's the nature of the mistake. And that was just so amateur from him. I don't care if it was windy, raining, sunshine. I don't care what the fuck was happening. He should do better there. And good on the Southampton player for taking advantage, because not everyone finishes that chance. How about Norgard? We had a mini debate about him already in our group chat.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think it was like the best game he's played for or something like that, but I actually felt like, especially when we got the ball, he was actually really good at just pushing the guys forward and saying, guys, this is where you need to be so I can give it to you. Then he was giving it to the guys where he spoke about Odegaard, getting on the ball a lot. Norgard was finding him quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, Odegaard was looking for the ball as well, but Norgard was finding him quite a bit, from what I remember anyway. And he made one or two errant passes, but the idea and the intention was fine with me. The risk was there. I didn't mind that. Off the ball, definitely could have been stronger, but I felt like later in the game, he actually got a bit better when the game was a bit more stretched. But I feel like by then, with football, when the momentum's going a certain way, kind of even if a player decides to step up, if you're not of a certain quality, you're not going to change the tide of it. It's different if someone like Declan Rice decides to actually play at Declan Rice level. Yeah, the whole game's going to change. If Norgard decides to play well at Norgard level, it's okay. Well done, you're playing well. It's not going to really.
But you're still Christian Norgard.
Yeah, basically.
All due respect. Yeah. And we're going to take a quick pause here because I do want to speak on Norgard. I feel like and this is not to scapegoat him again. I feel like he was the encapsulation of that game yesterday in that he was okay on the ball, just like Ben White. He was okay on the ball. Like when he made mistakes, they were forgivable on the ball because I understood what he was trying to do. I saw the amount of risk he was trying to take. I often think to myself, as someone that used to play many moons ago, I think to myself, would I have done that? Yeah, I would have done that. Sure, a mistake happened, but I would have made that same decision. It's cool by me. But the problem was off the ball. And for me, one of the more interesting things about the conversation about our style this season has been the fact that very few people within our fan base and outside of our fan base have acknowledged the fact that the true identity of this club at the moment is off the ball excellence. The reason why Arsenal is so good is because we're one of the best teams off the ball. And for me, when we're not good off the ball, that's when I get upset at a performance. Like I can accept watching Gabriel Martinelli lose a 1v1. I can accept seeing Gyökeres not get a shot. I can accept seeing Saka blast the ball over the bar type thing. What I don't enjoy is when the team gets run through or when we lose our duels. So when we're poor off the ball, and I feel like Norgard was sort of the encapsulation of that yesterday because he was in the right position 99% of the time, but then he didn't win the duel like 75% of the time. And at the end of the day, when you don't win your duels, you can't sustain momentum. You can't win a game, unless you get
Stop
lucky.
the other team's momentum as well.
Pretty much, So Kai Havertz played an interesting role. I'm not really entirely sure of what he did because he wasn't on the ball enough, but it wasn't, I wouldn't necessarily call that a problem in the game yesterday because there were enough other people on the ball. But what'd you make of the overall performance? He did get the assist for the goal.
Yeah. I love the player, and I love the way he actually interprets, his role in the team. But I still feel as if he's technical level, there still needs, mate, like there's still a way to go. With all due respect, I don't mean it in a, oh, he's just rubbish, or he ain't got the the jinky. It's not that. I just mean in the sense of some of these touches, for me, just need to be better and cleaner. Some of, even some of the way he receives the ball is good because he always does it in a way where he gets his body between man and ball. He can win the foul. But sometimes you just kind of kill momentum. Like you'd be running onto the ball and then he'll take the ball, get trapped sometimes. So it's like now you got to check back on yourself. You still got the ball, well done. But that gap that might have been there is now gone. You know what I mean? And it's just like those little technical things there just are. I'm comparisons of FIFA Joy, I'm going to be mentioning that quite a lot on this pod, but I just think of other players, maybe even within our own squads, that get the ball in their position and it's just clean. It's just clean. Like it's a perpetual motion. Like, the team hasn't had to slow down and then we get in kind of thing. And I just feel like with Kai Havertz, this current version of him, don't get me wrong, I know he's still working his way back. The most worrying part about it all is not even the physical side of it, because I feel like he's actually come back quite good physically. It's the technical side. The technical side is really just, I'm a little bit, I'm looking at it sideways.
Ultimately, that this is not anything new. I'm actually low-key disappointed in that observation from you because I'm like, this is the same kind of shit we were saying when he first joined the club. Really. I think we just need to accept that as part of his game. That's not, it's all like if you play him deeper on the pitch, you run the risk of losing momentum in moments because he's taking a touch and it's not the cleanest touch. Like I think ultimately you sort of eliminate that as a big concern when you play him as a striker.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like, no, because like I know what a good, clean, technical Kai Havertz looked like. Even at points last season, before the injury, especially, like everything looked assured. Like he'll bring the ball down out of his feet and we're going kind of thing. And it doesn't really matter about the position per se because Kai Havertz is never going to stay up top anyway. He's going to float around. It's just these core sort of fundamentals, I feel like, are just... Especially, it's also funny, in a game like yesterday, right? Arsenal played well going forward, especially, I want to say, in the first hour or so, but especially the first half, right? And those little bits there, those little, technical mistakes, I'll call them, could be the difference between you getting a couple of goals or not. Because that's the level in it. That's like, I can accept, I'm not calling him a championship player, but I can accept that from a championship player because like, okay, cool, fair enough. He's got the physicality in it, but technically, like, that's where you start talking about Prem players, no problem. But then in a game like yesterday, that level of quality, to compare him to someone like Martin Odegaard on at what, 70%, 60% was floating around yesterday, just doing pretty much whatever he wanted, And that's the level of the technical level difference that got him through yesterday more than anything. It wasn't even a physical thing. He was working angles for shots,
which looked good, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Also physically looked good. Yeah,
but he was working shots for an angle, no problem. Because while the ball sticking to his feet, he's able to make decisions because he's not chasing after the ball. He's not lagging behind. You know what I'm saying? Like once it's clean, then he's heads up. He's looking kind of thing, and it's just.
I do think, Coach, I do think it's fair to say that when players are coming back from injury, like it's not all the same for them, if that makes any sense. Like, so I think with Kai, and I'm a Kai's truther, by the way. So, that colors my analysis of him. He wasn't good enough yesterday. I can admit that for sure. But I do think that he might be one of those guys where for him, the last thing that shows up is like the touch. The assuredness and touch. Because you're right. There have been periods, regardless of where he was on the pitch, where it was like, oh, that wasn't really a complaint. And that's true. That's true for sure. On the other hand, with someone like Saka, it feels like for him, the last thing to come back after injury is like that top speed.
Yeah.
Like he's not making those sprints for a while. I think we're getting close to that. I'm not really sure, but I hope we're getting there. Martinelli started. What do you think of him? We're skipping Odegaard because you already gave him some compliments.
Yeah, no, I feel like Martinelli, we could have given him the ball more in the first half because he actually was quite threatening, I think. And if we are going to talk about physicality, physically, after playing in America, you know what I mean, this week, he came back, he looked... Like, if there's anybody that looks ready for this running, it's him. Like physically,
bro, he might be the fittest guy in the squad. Like I was stunned.
He sprinted back and intercepted the ball with a volley on the halfway line. Like he jumped up in the air to intercept the ball and then got us going forward again. I was like, damn. Like this was good. This was like 75-ish minutes. I want to say.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah, okay. He's so yeah. Overall, his performance. You know, he probably could have got a goal yesterday. I think
should have. Especially on the set plays, those new set plays that we're doing from the corners. When Noni gave it, he should have scored the two shots they created for him. He should have scored from both of them.
Yeah, the Noni one, the one that gave him to Noni, he should have hit the target 100%. But overall, look, Martinelli from the start of a game is you just got to accept what it is, basically.
Yeah,
like you might get some good, you might get some bad. Fortunately, yesterday we got more good than bad, whereas usually. Martinelli started the game, you might not get anything. You legit might not get anything.
Might get deportation papers.
Yeah. that's how frustrating like he can be sometimes when he starts the game. So yeah, I feel like he was okay. Yeah.
All right. So swings and roundabouts. About half the team were at a decent level. The other half were not. Kepa, I'm not going to speak on because I feel like the temperature is too hot around him, but. For those of you that don't want to see him anymore, there you go. We're out of the cups.
I was going to say, like, congrats. That's literally the last game of the season Kepa will be playing for us. So you guys got your wish, innit? Like,
Inshallah. Yeah. Let's put some prayer on that.
Yeah. Injury permitting. I just want to say though, like, does everyone have either selective amnesia or they're just dumb, basically? Because it has to be one or the other. It's either you've got selective amnesia, which means you're dishonest, or you're just a dumbass. So pick one, innit? So. When it comes to cup games, right, at least with support in my club, you quite literally have your cup goalkeeper. That has never changed. Why is there just this discourse about, oh my gosh, you should be playing don't you want to win? Like, shut up. Just shut up, please.
I would never, Coach, I completely agree with you, and I would never justify the stance, but I understand where it's coming from. Like, it's not the way I am, but I get it. You know, like when people have been waiting so long to be able to talk shit to their friends that support different clubs, to feel like a winner, you know, to pop champagne and all that. We've been waiting a while, you know, so I understand the logic of, well, in the most high leverage moment, we got it. But at the end of the day, the people that feel this way are not the ones that run the club. And I'm grateful for that, because that's not how you run a squad. If you tell somebody, come to my club, you get the cup games, then the final comes and you drop them, people see that. You're not going to be able to sign a decent backup goalkeeper next season after this guy fucks off because he's mad that you betrayed him. You know, and sure, maybe we win if Raya, maybe we win the Carling Cup if Raya plays that game. I think we possibly could, personally. But even so, I'm not really sure if that's worth the potential damage to the club's reputation, the manager's reputation in the long run. You can't just think in a moment. But, you know, people are emotional about this stuff. They're hurt. I get it. Guess what, folks? Those of us that disagree with you, we're also hurt. We wanted to win the Carling Cup. We wanted to progress in the FA Cup, you know, so it is what it is. But let's talk more generally, Coach. I feel as if a lot of the tension and panic that we're seeing in various spaces after Arsenal have now essentially bombed out of 2 domestic cups in the space of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For me, it feels a bit excessive, because just because a squad has played well throughout the season and put themselves in a good position to achieve something historic doesn't mean that we're entitled to that actually happening. Like, you still need to play the games. Other clubs want to win things too. Other clubs have good players. Some of them even cheat to get those good players. You know, that said, Coach, when you're at a point in the season where you've only lost 3 games in all competitions,
Well, 5.
and you're potentially going to win a quadruple.
Oh yes.
What is the valid? What do you think is a valid expectation? Like, everyone has their opinion on this, but where do you stand on this?
My expectation at the beginning of every league season since 23-24, not 22-23.
Right, that was a surprise to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, for you dishonest people, right? Not 22-23, since 23-24. My expectation since then that we should either challenge for the league or win the league. That's it. That's been my expectation. Since 24-25, my expectation has been to win the league. Point blank period. My expectation has been to win the league. Now, expectation, we have to be really careful. Expectation is different to entitlement. My expectations are based on the quality of the squad and the coach in comparison to everybody else. That's it. That's the bottom line.
And past performance.
And past performance. Past performance for sure. I don't give a monkeys about the 22 years. I don't care about what the media say. I don't care about the history of, like, we're the third biggest club in England, which we'll get to. I'm only basing that based off what I see currently and what I've seen in the last 3 to 4 years. That is it. That is just it. All the other stuff is just noise. Exactly that, just noise. It's not important. It doesn't matter. It distracts you from what is in front of you, right? So that's all it is. That's my expectation at the beginning of every season, to win or challenge for the league, but now to win the league. Now, if we're talking about the cups and whatever else, deep cup runs for sure, because I feel like because cup competitions are, believe it or not, guys, are luck. League is more about quality. Do you know
Just
what I mean?
rolling the dice.
It's just so when you, obviously, if you have a certain stature and you have certain resources, or you just call it as you cheat, you can make 8 semi-finals over. You can make 8 in a row semi-finals over FA Cup because you just have that much quality that the luck will roll your way. For everybody else, you literally have to concentrate. Or that, put it like this: United won the Carabao Cup in 2023, then won the FA Cup in 2024. Look at their league seasons in those seasons that they won them, and tell me, what does that tell you about what their priority was? So when we talk about, we have to win this and win that kind of thing, I personally, this might, upset a few people. I personally, I'm not even sure if this team or manager is mature enough to actually win multiple trophies in one season. I do know, however, based on past experience, especially in the last 3-4 years, this team absolutely can make a real go of it for the league. I know that for a fact. Over the course of a season, I know Arsenal can actually go for it. And what we see in this season, of course, in the league, right? Let's focus for now. We're going to get back to the cups, but in the league, we can see that this team clearly is capable of it. So everything else to me is just noise. It really is.
That's well said, Coach. I hate the fact that we're friends on the same podcast because we tend to agree a lot. But that's sort of the way I feel about it as well. I think what I've seen from this team, like, I really like the fact that you said you don't know for a fact that this team and this manager are capable of winning multiple trophies. And that's a very fair assessment to me, because as good as Arsenal have been, they haven't actually, we can all acknowledge this because it's the truth. It's what everyone uses to make fun of us. We haven't actually won anything yet. Yeah. So if you've never won anything, where do you get off on going from not winning anything to expecting to win 4 trophies in one season? Like, where'd they do that at?
Exactly.
Every team that I'm aware of that's won a treble didn't go from winning 0 to winning a treble or a quadruple or whatever. They actually won other things along the way.
Exactly.
And the one thing that we all agree on makes a team the best team over the course of a league season is the league title itself.
Exactly.
Like, you can, like, I remember a year under Gerard Houllier, Liverpool won a treble of cups. And we called it a Shanta treble and ignored it. And no one talks about it, because they didn't win the league. Yeah. So for me, from an expectation standpoint, honestly, I will speak to even 22-23, that infamous season that we used to compare and depress ourselves as Arsenal fans.
Not
Honestly, I watched us in preseason destroy Chelsea. And from that point on, I thought to myself, I think we can do this. I still believe that if there wasn't a World Cup scheduled in the winter that season, we might have snuck that, because basically we had the World Cup, Gabby Jesus gets injured. That was the first injury. Then we lost Saliba. Then we lost Tomiyasu. And that was the end of that season. But ultimately, I think my only expectation / entitlement, I'm going to combine those terms, coach, for me. My only expectation / entitlement at the beginning of this season was that they're going to win the league. And it would be nice if we could get a cup. That's kind of the way I saw it. Then 2 weeks ago, when it looked like we were on for 4 different titles, that was nice, but at no point did I ever allow myself to dream that big. Maybe I'm just not that imaginative. Maybe I'm a bitch ass nigga. I don't know, but I never got to the point where I was like, yeah, we gonna win 4 trophies and have Tottenham relegated. It's like, life doesn't work that way, people. Look around you. Life doesn't work that way.
I'm just really glad that you just homed back in on the league. Because it feels like there's a bit of a deflection here, and it feels like a little bit of maybe an excuse for losing to Southampton. It's not that. Let me just, in case for people that don't know what I'm saying there, and you just need to understand, Arsenal should have won yesterday. No excuses. Bottom line.
Absolutely.
It's bitterly disappointing. So just so people are clear on that, that's not what even the issue is. I feel like the tone of the pod pretty much tells you, but we're not particularly over the moon right now. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But just let me just be clear again. Arsenal should have won yesterday. Point blank. We all expected to win. Despite the feeling in the pit of my stomach, we still should have won yesterday. Okay, with that part out of the way, there's a real danger and there's a trap that's been set by the people that don't like Arsenal, that Arsenal have looked good for this entire season. We just have. Regardless of what the style of play people want to say or whatever, the fact that we're talking about us winning 4 trophies, it's not because we're bad. Do you know what I mean? It's not because we're bad. So
it just doesn't work that way logically. Like you can't be on course to win 4 trophies in March of any season and be a bad team.
Exactly. So there's that. So that's the first point. The second point is that it's never been done before. So the reason it hasn't been done before is because it's pretty damn hard. You can have a nation state backing you, and you still won't be able to do it, basically. But the thing is, they've set this trap and let's call it expectation, because ultimately Arsenal winning anything kind of shoots down. It shoots down any sort of like argument, especially argument, but also new narrative, or call it new narrative. It's not really new narrative, but a narrative for a new season. Basically, they have to start rehashing all of their PowerPoint presentations, all of their plans and everything, talking about Arsenal with a C next to their name, basically, and stuff like that. And they don't really want to have to do that. They just want to basically rehash everything over and over and over and over again. So when you set this expectation of, Arsenal in full competition in March, they must win them now, that you fall into the trap, because you're thinking, surely if the people that don't like us are saying it, then surely that we must do it. No, they never want us to do it. They never believed that we could do it, kind of thing. They just wanted to set the expectation so high and so unrealistic, so that, number one, when Arsenal do eventually win something, it's not going to feel as good as it should. Not to me. Let me be clear, not to me, but it's not going to feel as good as it should to the dumb people that believe their lies, that believe that, only the league title, only one trophy, as in the league title, is some sort of underachievement. Underachievement. Let me just be clear on this. 38 games in a league season. Over the course of 38 games, you are better than 19 other teams. And some of those 19 other teams quite literally cheated their way just to finish behind you anyway. Let me just be clear on that. And you somehow think that winning, because I haven't been on any sort of online forum or whatever, Twitter or whatever, in such a long time, but I just know people are so predictable. I know the discourse is, if Arsenal only win the league title, is it a disappointment? Is it underachievement? How can you even ask that question after 22 years? How can that even be your thinking? Because people are going to say, surely you want to get something with the league. I don't give a monkeys, bro. The league is the league. It is so hard to win. So hard to win. Every goal you score, go on.
Let me drag this out to an even more perverse level.
Go on.
Like, look at how Newcastle celebrated when they won the Carling Cup. After not having won for, was it 70 years they hadn't won a trophy?
Years.
Look at how much love and respect the whole football chatosphere, if you will, gave Crystal Palace for winning the FA Cup and the Community Shield last season.
Exactly.
Like, is it like, were those achievements undercut by the fact that that's all they achieved in those seasons?
Can you imagine?
I don't think so. Nobody said that was the case, but somehow it's different for us not having won something because we lost something that we hadn't actually won to begin with. I don't understand it. And more importantly, and I'm gonna throw it back to Coach after this, I feel as if a lot of fans, and I understand why this is the case, a lot of fans take their cues from the wrong sources. Just because you watch Sky Sports or whatever it is you watch doesn't mean that you have to take your thinking from them. I feel as an Arsenal fan that I need to take my thinking from the manager. He is the representative of the club. And I listen to every Arteta press conference. At no point in this season did he say anything about us winning a quadruple. At no point. You know, and yes, why would a coach ever say that? They're not supposed to say things like that. Well, he didn't. So where's the entitlement coming from? If the entitlement isn't coming from inside the house, then I don't understand why you would give it any credence as a fan of Arsenal. Like, you should be focused on what we're doing, not what other people are saying. Back to you, Coach.
No, you raise a really good point about focusing on us, because the noises, all the noise is coming from bad faith people that are just in the media to, number one, generate clicks, or just to, what's the word I'm looking for? To basically talk down on Arsenal, or to downplay what Arsenal are doing, kind of thing, and
to troll. They're to troll.
And once you start actually repeating those things, then you start taking them on. Of course, it's gonna get to a point. It's like, so what? It's only a league title. Do you know what? I'm just gonna, take a year off next year because this is just too much. Like, good, take the year off. Take the year off. Like, see you later, bro. Like,
do you even like football?
this is what I'm saying. Like, it's got to a point, and I just have to be so transparent here. I don't think a lot of people like football. I don't think a lot of people even like sport. They don't really enjoy sport per se. They may enjoy the community around it. They may enjoy the highs of, a team getting a last minute winner, or like playing really well, all that kind of thing. But you don't actually enjoy the sport on a technical or tactical level, or even from and I'm going to hate using this word, but from I want to say narrative point of view. But when I say narrative, I don't mean narrative from what these dickers are saying. I mean narrative in the sense of, do you know what? You've got a bunch of Halen boys, that are technically really the best players in the team, managed by the ex-captain in his first job, kind of thing. Like, all those sorts of things you don't enjoy, it doesn't matter to you.
They don't love romance, bro. They don't love romance.
Pardon, sorry?
They don't love romance.
You don't love romance.
They don't visit Rwanda.
You don't love boys and love girls. Like, you're not any of that. Like, all that matters to you is feeling good about yourself, about these expectations that you have, and nothing else, kind of thing. And more importantly, what others will say. Because really, when you think about it, that's what it comes down to. A lot of this shit is insecure. Like, I'm sorry, Arsenal fans are insecure losers.
Every fan base is filled with insecure losers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
I think it's a function of being a fan. Like, we don't control this shit, so we can't be super secure about it. But even so, back to you, Coach.
Genuinely, I feel like we're the main character right now for being insecure losers. We just are. And at one point, it was Liverpool fans as well. Like, Liverpool fans were bad, like probably just as bad as us. But that's in the distant part. Well, that's in the recent part, should I say? And again, like I said, we're the main characters. Go on.
Before I forget this, yesterday I was watching the Liverpool game before the Arsenal game, obviously, and City was doing them bad, as we're all aware. And I still couldn't even, despite everything Liverpool fans have been doing over the past couple of years as we've come to prominence, I still couldn't find it within myself to root against them. I still wanted them to win that game.
100%.
And they didn't win it. then at some point I thought to myself, fuck. Somehow Jamie Carragher is going to make this Arsenal's fault.
No, you're right. You're right. Because
so the narrative that fucked me up too. So, it is what it is. Carry on, coach.
Yeah, like, look, Arsenal fans are insecure losers. That's just the bottom line. And when people are not happy about losing a game to Southampton, so now your chances of trouble have gone, that's perfectly rational. When it gets to the extreme of, oh shit, you know what? Can we just hurry up and win the league so that I can sim next year? I can just watch from afar or whatever else kind of thing. I'm sorry, like, this sport and this club ain't for you. It just ain't. It just ain't. Right. After 22 years, the best period we're going to have after 22 years, you wanna just step away from it after you got your little shiny thing. You just want to step away from it after that. Like, what is that? And don't get me wrong, everyone's free to do what you want. That's the beautiful thing about free will. Like, because the funny thing is, on the podcast I had with Scarlett, we spoke about it because somebody tweeted that saying, "Oh yeah, I can't wait for us to win the league so I can take a year off." And again, it's the same sentiment. And for me, you're not here because you love the sport, or you love the team, or you love the club, or you love the players. You're here to fill a gap within yourself. That's just the bottom line. You don't really love this shit. You don't. I'm sorry if I sound away or I sound sort of, elitist here. I don't even think I can even be an elitist about football. It's impossible. But I'm sorry, you just don't love this shit. You just don't.
Coach, I have a question on sort of the perspective generally. Like, Arteta has been the manager at Arsenal for 6 seasons now.
Yeah.
A lot of the chatter externally has been about how it has to happen this season. If he doesn't win this season, Arsenal needs to look at making a change. And, a lot of people romanticize the 22-23 season, was it? Mm-hmm. The one where we got Zinchenko and Jesus into the team and we had that surprise title chase and we played all this beautiful football. But ultimately, there's a very strong argument that we're currently, despite the way people seem to feel and all the bitch-ass shit they're saying, I think we might be living through our best moment in a while. Am I tripping with that? Where do you feel where do you stand on this?
No, it just doesn't feel that way because people aren't using their brains. They're football's an emotional sport, and I get it. But at some point, you got to leave room for you to actually not look like a clown, basically. And let's just have it right. This currently, on paper, is the best season we've had under Arteta so far. That's just the bottom line. Whether you want to make a deep run in the Carabao Cup, we lost in the final, quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We got the kind side of the draw in the Champions League. We're 9 points clear of the Premier League with 7 games left for us, right? So tell me, why is it then, for me personally, and I spent a lot of this season on this pod asking why everyone's so unhappy. While I feel like I've been living, like we've been living in La La Land basically. Like we're thinking, shit, this shit is fantastic, man. And everybody else is losing their mind. I've had way more like blow ups in my group chat with my friends this season, despite everything I said, despite the context, than we've had in other seasons. And it doesn't make sense to me when you lay it out when you lay it out like that. How can we be way more unhappy now than we were when we were outmatched in 22-23? Clearly outmatched. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not competing to me. But I know we said it 100 times on this podcast already. I'll say it again. We know why people are allowing that lot and whoever else to win. That's all it is, because expectations that you shouldn't really have now been forced on you, and now you've taken them on as your own. Also, just win the league. Also just win the league. I'm telling you, if you can't find joy and use that as a stick to beat other people with their failed projects, then I don't know. I really don't know. So
that's very well said, Coach. This segment of the podcast was brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy for you bitch ass niggas that have turned this football thing into something. It's supposed to be fun, folks. Like, the tension is the fun. Yeah. Like, feeling sad about losing things.
That's calm. That's
then winning down the line. That's the whole point of this shit, folks. Like, you don't get to, like, why would you put up with, if you're as old as I am, why would you put up with the last 22, 23 years of not winning the league, then win the league and be like, all right, I'm out? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, this is the time, but we're not there yet. I don't want to sound entitled. Yeah. Let's bring it a little more macro, Coach.
Yeah.
We're out of all domestic cups.
Yeah.
Yesterday was our return from an international break, and we lost to Southampton. That is exactly what happened. None of us are happy about it. But I'll ask you this: would you rather have lost this game or the upcoming game against Bournemouth in the league?
Oh, you already know the answer. Like 100 times out of 100, I'm losing yesterday's game. Like they couldn't even be a 5-0 yesterday. I wouldn't like. If you tell me the 3 points that almost are in the bag, like they're 1, 2, 3 in the pocket, like oh yeah, oh hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a question, man.
So I just asked that to sort of provide some perspective on yesterday's loss, which again, none of us are happy about. But at the end of the day, we have to all stay locked in. And I do think, actually, Coach, let me direct the question to you. Do you think as a fan base or as fans in general, do you think we have a sort of like a responsibility to ourselves as a community and to the club, to the players, to the manager, to, I kind of view us as a team against everybody else's team. Do we have a responsibility to sort of stay strong with this shit? Like, don't fucking freak out. Don't panic. Let's keep going, because not all is lost yet. Do we have that responsibility, or should people just do what the fuck they want? Obviously, people are going to do what the fuck they want. But do you think we do have some sort of responsibility?
All right, so I'm going to lay out some ground rules about this shit, right? Because this is it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, man. And again, free will is free will, and I have been using my free will, and I will continue to use my free will to not fraternize or associate or even interact or even engage with any of this bitch ass bullshit. I just won't. So as a fan base, I'm sorry, as Arsenal, these are the ground rules, right? The number one thing is, especially under this coach, maybe not under Emery because he was just a bitch anyway, but the number one thing on this, you must stick together. That's just the bottom line. That's just the the hardwired sort of thing. You must stick together.
What that's out there? What that's out there? Victoria, Concordia.
Crescent, yeah, of course.
Yeah. What that mean, Coach? You speak all the language. What that mean? Duolingo.
Victory through harmony, man.
Harmony.
So for me, like, you must stick together. Like Dean said, all is not lost. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when things are bad, right? Because let's be clear, this is not bad. Let me just be clear. It's upsetting.
It's not good. It's not good, but it's not bad.
Whoa. I'll be very raw with you. This is, offer me this every season. Being disappointed in March because we're out of the domestic cup. We're still in the Champions League and we're top of the Premier League by 9 points. Offer me that every season, and you tell me that's bad. Okay, so exactly. So for me, when things are bad, again, this is not bad, right? You must look at things from give yourself perspective. Give yourself room to be upset, like we have, kind of thing. But also, like, you can't get into your head and think, oh my gosh, this is so bad. We only just might win the Premier League, or we only just might win the Champions League. Like, if you can't see how crazy you sound, yeah, please, go over there. When you get over there, fuck off, basically. you are crazy, right? That's the second thing, right? Perspective. That's the second thing. The third thing, and this is the most important thing, is do not let them, and I've been very explicit about who I said who them are, do not let them win. This kind of relates to the second way, but do not let them win. They've stole your joy. That's what's happened. They don't blame it on Arsenal on that. Arsenal haven't stole your joy, because Arsenal, for all intents and purposes, are doing their job. You can lose football matches, unfortunately. It happens, it's football. But Arsenal have lost 5 games since August, right?
That's crazy, bro. That's
3 in the
crazy.
league, 2 in the cup, right? 3 in the league, 2 in the cups, right? And 1 of them was a final, right? So, regardless of how you feel, don't blame Arsenal, say Arsenal stolen your joy, because they haven't. Arsenal can still very much win the league. Like, I'm not saying, I'm saying it like we're 2 points behind. Can you imagine? I'm saying it like we're 2 points behind. Arsenal can very much still win the league because we're 9 points ahead. Yeah, whatever, the cheating bastards have got a game in hand. Not my business. I don't care. Points on the board is all that matters. You can't let them win. You just can't let them win, because all it is that you've made them comfortable. You've made them comfortable with Arsenal winning, and that's the opposite of what you want. You need them to be uncomfortable. So if you've got their own fans downplaying Arsenal's achievement kind of thing, then they've won. They don't have to worry about, oh shit, like looking at their own clubs. They don't have to, because Arsenal fans are hating on their own club for them. So they can join in with you. Despite their club spending 1.5 billion kind of thing, and they have an interim coach. They don't even know who's going to be taking over next. Like all these messes that everybody else is doing kind of thing, and you're letting them define what should make you happy, like, because that's what it is really. All these talking points shouldn't be coming from the Arsenal fan base, and if they are, then you're not really Arsenal fans to me. So don't let them win. Do not let them win. Bottom line.
Like at the beginning of every season, there are only 4 trophies you can win. At the beginning of the season, there are multiple trophies that emerge after you've won some of the other trophies, like the Club World Cup or whatever the hell it is, but for the most part, you start the season, you're in the Champions League if you're a good team, you're in your league, and you have 2 domestic cups if you're in England. In France, you only have 1, We'll talk about PSG some other day. And winning any one of those, I know we talk shit because that's what fans do. That's what we're supposed to do. But winning any one of those is not to be taken for granted. It's not to be disrespected, especially if it's been this long since you've won it, So, I don't know, Coach, I guess before we leave, I did want to ask you, like, we've essentially done this entire pod to tell people, hey, man, Southampton wasn't a good result, but things are still okay. Calm down, stick together. Let's get through this. That said, and this is the most pessimistic part of me. Well, it's my job as a host to ask these kind of questions. I don't actually believe any of this, but I've put all these caveats in front. What would actually make you panic?
What would actually make you panic?
Yes, this season, like before the season ends, because Arsenal are going to be in contention for many things, moving forward. So what would make you panic? What would make you say, oh my God, this season, we don't want to think about it, but at what point do the more skittish people among us get the right to be like, I told you so?
If it's anything less than a win against Bournemouth, actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. No. If we lose at City, then I'd be like, okay. Because look, guys, let's be clear. There's no easy games between here and the end of the season. We've got Bournemouth, then we've got City. I can't remember the order of all the other games, but I know we've got Newcastle, I know we've got West Ham, and I know we've got Palace. Arsenal don't have any easy games between now and the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got Burnley as well. Maybe Burnley, I don't know, but even then, like, the way football is, you just never know. Like, I'm learning from Wolves. So we've got Burnley as well. So those are our last remaining games, yeah?
So it's so the next game is Sporting on Tuesday.
Yeah. Then
Bournemouth, then Sporting again, then City on Sunday. Newcastle, Fulham away. No, Fulham at the Emirates.
Fulham, yeah.
Away at West Ham. Burnley at the Emirates, then Crystal Palace as the last game. Hopefully by the time May comes around, this shit is a wrap. That's the hope, but
Basically, but yeah, for me, if I'll start panicking, regardless of the Bournemouth result, I'll start panicking if we lose against City. Because I just feel like psychologically, after the way we played in the final, you don't want to go there and let them punch you in the face again, basically. Like, that will tell me more about the team. And I hate reading too deep into these things, because football is 90 minutes. You can lose a football match. But genuinely, that result there, I want to win. I desperately want to win. Just because of how...
Don't have to. Want to, don't have to.
Yeah, like, I want to win, but all due respect, like, we're in a position where it's just like, okay, I'm not saying we should go there being conservative, but we're not going there thinking, oh shit, we need these 3 points.
Don't fucking lose it though, which is how I feel about every game. Don't lose the game.
I trust Arteta, I trust Arsenal not to go there to be conservative. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like at any point this season, Arsenal going to a game where it's like, from minute one, we're just going to sit back. I don't feel like we've gone to any game this season. Like, it just hasn't. It's been the noise outside telling us that that's what we do, but the stats say otherwise. The position of William Saliba and Gabriel say otherwise, kind of thing. So, but the next couple of weeks, we go there with the mentality that essentially City know if they don't win, it's done. It's that, and that's where, if City win, that's where I'm like, oh shit.
Honestly, from a fan standpoint, I have to admit, as much as I've enjoyed the season, I know some of you don't agree with that sentiment, but as much as I've enjoyed the season, the one element of the season that I've found frustrating is how our record in the big games hasn't been as good as it's been over the last couple seasons. I feel like we've been a little sloppier in the big games, not in the Champions League, that's different, but in the league, I feel like this was probably a year where we should have gotten points off Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
And and we lost one game, we drew one game. City got a point at the Emirates. I didn't like that. I felt like when we had them pinned back for 70 minutes of the game, we should score more goals in that game. The losing away at Villa, like that's something that probably shouldn't have happened. It was a last minute loss, but that probably shouldn't have happened. That was a big enough game that I felt like we should have won that. And I feel like getting a draw away at the Etihad, or even better yet, a win, which I think we're more than capable of. Doing that sort of forgives all of the stuff that's happened this season that's been disappointing in the big games for me. So will I panic if the result doesn't go the way I want it to go? Probably not. That's just not the way I'm wired anymore. I enjoy this shit, but I do agree that there is a psychological component that we need to be aware of in that situation. Coach, I think we've done enough here. I felt better before we started. I feel pretty good right now. Anything else for the folks before we get out of here?
Use your free will to use your brain more and don't be a fucking idiot. Yeah.
And on that note, we're out. Tell the people, Coach.
Peace.